So what's going on, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of the Raider Critique, man. Welcome. Thank you all for showing up. I don't know if I even really got everything going on right now, if it's really working that well, but I can tell you what, it's pretty damn early over here. And I'm actually wanting to go over a few things, especially going over a little bit of the draft, a lot of what nobody else has actually talked about. But hey, here's one thing I've been kind of looking at. Oh, hey, look, I'm actually playing the fucking circus music right now. Let me change that up, guys. Let's change it into something that we can all get down with. At least I was hoping that some of us could get down with it. Real metal, because, I don't know, it doesn't really exist anymore. But let's talk about these Raiders, man. How's everybody doing in the chat? I want to holler at y'all, man. Thank you, guys. Dark for showing up, man. Hey, appreciate you for coming in. Ray Love, I appreciate that. Let me go ahead and get rid of this Nightbot because I'm going to put his ass in timeout, even though I'm the one that set him up like that. But I haven't really fucked with all this. So anyway, how are y'all feeling about the draft? We did pick up a guy in Tyree Wilson, who actually I thought was a very good pickup for the number 7th overall pick. We didn't trade back. We didn't trade up. I don't think that we went and got the quarterback that we needed, but we did pick up a quarterback. So, I mean, hell, man, let's go ahead and kind of go over everybody that we picked up over here in the draft, and then I want to go over our undrafted free agent prospects. So let me hop on over here to OBS to where I can go ahead and switch on over, because it does seem like that this regime is trying to draft for the future. And, well, with picks like this, you know, I would say that we've got a pretty good shot. Now, we got Tyree Wilson in the first round. In the second round here, we picked up a tight end in Michael Mayer. And honestly, that's got to be my favorite pick of the whole draft, because I knew that we needed a tight end. I'm sure we all knew that we needed a tight end, especially after Darren Waller was traded to the Giants for a third-round pick. Might as well have traded him for a Coke and a bag of chips with as little as we got for him. But we were able to solidify and kind of fill that void by drafting this dude out of Notre Dame, Michael Mayer. Dude might not have, you know, blazing speed, but he can block, he can catch, he uses his hands, and he's an excellent route runner. Also, everybody is kind of comparing him to Rob Gronkowski. Maybe that's just the number. I don't see it, but it's nice to at least know that we do have a tight end on there that is not just for Horsted or Austin Hooper, who's going to be catching passes from Jimmy Garoppolo. I do believe that we needed this guy. Thought it was a real good pickup. Now, round 3 is kind of where I get tossed up. We picked up a defensive tackle, and I believe that's Byron Young from Alabama. Not really sold on that pick, but we did need interior defensive line, so it's understandable why we picked him up when we picked him up. Now, we had another pick in round 3, and I could have swore that when we moved up to go ahead and get this pick that we were going after the quarterback that I have been harping and pounding the table for in Hendon Hooker. Well, we passed up on Hendon Hooker, and we drafted a dude named Trey Tucker, a wide receiver out of Cincinnati, who is 5'9" and 185 pounds. Dude is a burner. He is really fast, but in all actuality, I still don't understand why we would draft a wide receiver when we already have so many wide receivers on the roster. And could have got Hendon Hooker, but instead, I guess this team and this organization saw that, hey, maybe we didn't need to draft a quarterback this year. I know they've done road and gave Jimmy Garoppolo all the fucking goddamn, pretty much the reins, and they're going to give him enough rope until he hangs himself. Whether he stays healthy or not, well, that's beyond any of us. I do know that on the actual roster, we're carrying 4 quarterbacks, including Chase Garbers, and then the 17-year vet in Brian Hoyer, Jimmy Garoppolo, and now, of course, Aiden O'Connell. Now, I do want to switch over to this because a lot of people have been, just kind of talking about Aiden O'Connell and how good he actually played. I watched some highlights about him. He looked all right with the highlights I've seen, but let's be honest, Raider Nation, you can sit there and mold pretty much any video that you would like to mold on however you want to do it. But let's go ahead and look. This is Aiden O'Connell's stats from Purdue. All right, he is 6'3" at 210 pounds, and his high school was Stevenson. His hometown is Long Grove, Illinois. Now, I'm looking up his career stats here, and his past stats at this point, okay? In total of his 4 years in college, he played 33 games. He had 826 completions on 1,238 attempts, 30 interceptions, 9,219 yards, 65 touchdowns, 75 being his long. I don't know what this percentage is, but supposedly his percentage is a 0.67. Average per play was 7.4. So I guess that's average per pass, 7.4, with an average at game at 279.4. The guy to me is middle tier. All right, he's middle tier, but I do think that he can be developed and he can be produced as long as he's listening and as long as he can follow orders into falling into this regime's coaching style and into this coaching scheme. So I really don't think this is a bad pickup, but I really do think that there was quite a few others that we could have gotten before having to pull this guy in round 4. So, I mean, I'm just a fan. I really am. I'm just a fan. I don't analyze shit, really. But in all actuality, man, it's kind of rough to sit there and think that we passed on Hendon Hooker to get an Aiden O'Connell. And to me, that just doesn't sound like a winning recipe. It almost sounds like that we went belly up before the season ever started. But hey, we're undefeated as of right now. And we really don't know how this is going to work out until we finally hit preseason and we start seeing what these guys have got. Not to mention, got a bunch of dudes on this roster that are probably not going to be on this roster come spring training, comes preseason. So, it really, did we draft him in the 4th round to become the practice squad guy? Or are we going to give Chase Garbers a chance to actually come in and compete? I don't know. The only thing I do know is that we picked up a whole bunch of undrafted free agents that nobody really even talked about, man. And these undrafted free agents actually look pretty good. Now, I want to go over to that as well. And here they are. All right. We picked up a defensive back from UCLA in Aziz Heem. And then we picked up an offensive tackle, McClendon Curtis, offensive tackle out of Chattanooga. Then we got Dalton Wagner, an offensive tackle out of Arkansas. Jaden Grant, another defensive back out of Oregon State. And then my personal favorite, Jordan Perryman, defensive back out of University of California, Davis, actually went to Hanford High School, Kings County, homegrown boy. So, of course, I'm pulling for this guy to make the team since, of course, I'm from motherfucking Lemoore. So I'm all about this dude making the damn team. We ain't really had a really good player come out of our area since motherfucking Lorenzo Neal. So I want to kind of read about these dudes, man. And it's not going to be a very long episode, but it's going to be an episode just to kind of go over. Now, this is coming from AZ Sports. All right. And what they say about McClendon Curtis, offensive tackle in Chattanooga. Now, the skinny man, Curtis played at right guard for the majority of his college career, but showed the ability to play some left guard and left tackle as well. He was a 6-year redshirt this past season and had elite physical tools. Curtis has a very powerful frame and a rare arm length and wingspan. He is a long-term project, but the Raiders are banking on his physical traits. He played basketball all 4 years of high school, and his career stats is 30 games at right guard, 7 at left tackle, and 1 at left guard. Now, we've also got Dalton Wagner, offensive tackle out of Arkansas. Want to make sure that it actually moved over to that. Yep, all right. So I'm going to read the skinny about Wagner. Wagner was a 3-star recruit coming out of high school and redshirted for his freshman year. In 2018, he earned the starting left tackle spot for the Razorbacks before moving to the right side at the start of the 2019 season. In his senior year, he started 12 games as right tackle. He maximizes his length with well-timed hands in pass protection and has a forceful punch that can knock the rusher off his rhythm. His height is considered an issue at times as it creates limitations in his movement. Now, Dalton's father played on the offensive line at Western Illinois, and his brother was an offensive lineman at Southern Illinois. His career stats, he's allowed 12 sacks, 41 quarterback hurries, and 12 quarterback hits. Now, Jaden Grant, defensive back out of Oregon State. Grant has a good top-end speed and enough length to make plays on the ball. He can track the ball downfield as he gets his head around when playing in a trial position. Grant also shows excellent ball skills when breaking on route and is a good tackler in run support. Grant plays conservatively at times and will give large cushions when playing off. He's also susceptible to double moves. Now, his father, Brian, played in the NBA from 1994 to 2006, and his career stats is 223 tackles, 9 interceptions, 19 passes defended, and 4 forced fumbles. We could definitely use somebody who can create turnovers on this defense. So I'm thinking that he maybe even being a project is still going to be an asset to this defense if he makes the team. Aziz Hearn, defensive back out of UCLA. Now, it's hard to see Hearn translating as an NFL cornerback due to his lacking of the ball skills and anticipation needed for the position. However, due to his size and athleticism, he can project as an NFL safety. He is a nice wrap-up tackler and has plenty of experience tackling around the box. He is quick to the punch and possesses the physical talent and NFL measurables. He's not great at reading and jumping routes, though. He admires the NFL's Deion Sanders, Emmitt Smith, and Barry Sanders, and the NBA's LeBron James and Kobe Bryant. And his career stats is 146 tackles, no interceptions, and 7 passes defended. My dude, Jordan Perryman, defensive back out of UC Davis. Now, Perryman is a fluid mover with average speed, and his length allows him to cover effectively downfield. He has great route recognition and does a good job getting his head around in time when playing with his back to the line of scrimmage. He is also a very aggressive tackler. He is better in press coverage than off coverage and will sometimes give up throws underneath. Now, he played 3 sports in high school: football, track, and basketball, and his career stats is 121 tackles, 13 pass breakups, and 3 interceptions. So that is our undrafted pool right there, at least the ones that have been publicized within the last week, of course. Now, we also picked up another corner in some dude named Shelley. Haven't done enough research on him to really talk about him yet, but you already know your boy Critique is going to go in and take a look at that dude as well, and also at the other moves that we have been making when they come about. So anyway, that is the undrafted pool there. We've got quite a few guys that are actually hopefully going to make this team. We'll see how this works. There's also going to be some rumors and speculations of guys who are not going to be here. We talked a little bit of rumor and speculation last night on Raider Ben's channel. Thanks for having me on, by the way, brother. About Hunter Renfrow. Now, we've gone over some contracts and stuff like that when it comes to Hunter Renfrow. It does make sense if we do end up trading him post June 1st. Now, is it something that I want to see? Is it something that I want to do? Absolutely not. I do not want to see Hunter Renfrow removed from this team. He had one off year, and as far as I'm concerned, that one off year shouldn't detriment him to being tossed away like yesterday's garbage. But if you go look at the numbers, trading him post June 1st would save us a bunch of money against the cap, and we wouldn't eat a lot of dead money on the cap. But I do think that this coaching regime did that on purpose, if you kind of know what I mean. Because, I mean, they are the ones who gave Darren Waller that huge contract, ended up trading him. They're also the ones who gave Derek Carr that huge contract and ended up releasing him where we ate a bunch of dead money. It really wouldn't surprise me if this coaching regime did come in with as many wide receivers as we do have to trade Hunter Renfrow post June 1st to try to cover up some of that money, but also ex-nay some of these players that were John Gruden guys, get him off this team to where he can build with his own idea of what players he wants on this team and what he believes that he can use to put us over the top. I mean, in all actuality, bro, we've made a lot of depth moves. I'm trying to be as optimistic as I possibly can, but a lot of these moves, some of these moves that I've seen, it just look like that we're just filling gaps. And I mean, I can't really sit there and say on how it's going to work out because, well, I haven't been here, bro. Like, I'm not in that front office. I have no idea what the hell they're thinking, and I have no idea what the hell they're talking about behind closed doors. They could easily be looking to just maybe try to get second place in the division, because I'm going to tell you guys this right now, as much as this might piss all of you off, Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to be the end-all, be-all that's going to help us and help propel this team to get above the Kansas City Chiefs to lead the division. Now, if it happens, I'll be pleasantly surprised, but I'm not betting that that is going to happen because, honestly, you guys, man, you've heard me say it before. Getting Jimmy Garoppolo and moving on from Derek Carr was a lateral move. It was a lateral move. But there is one thing that was discussed last night. Jimmy's going to probably be playing with a chip on his shoulder, which could, in turn, benefit this team and benefit him into solidifying himself as the starting quarterback for this organization. But, man, I'm just kind of just how the fuck we pass up on Hendon Hooker? The dude, to me, is by far was the best quarterback in the draft, and he didn't go to anywhere until the third round, and the Lions ended up picking him up. Now, if we want to go over draft grades and draft classes, dude, Philly killed it. As far as I'm concerned, Philly had the best draft out of anybody, and Detroit was a close second because of everybody they were able to pick up. If I'm talking about the Raiders, I'm giving the Raiders a B at best. I'm not going to give them above a B, but I'm also not going to drop them below a C for the simple fact that we haven't seen what these players are or how they're going to perform at the NFL level. So I'm not going to shit on them just yet because we don't know exactly what they're going to be able to do. You know? Now, I'm going to be as optimistic as I can until I can't be optimistic anymore. I'm going to trust this process because really I have no choice but to trust this process, because if I sit here and keep complaining and complaining about every move that they're doing, man, I'm never going to come into a proper state of mind to where I'm going to be able to accept this team or this coaching regime or this front office. Now, there's also been a bunch of other news stuff that I would like to talk about. Henry Ruggs has pled guilty, and his plea bargain is, from what I have read, he is asking to go ahead and take the guilty plea and maybe get 3 to 10 years in a state prison. Now, John Gruden also has been to court, and also the arbitration has been removed. The United States court system is not going to let the NFL come in and conduct any more of their bullshit when it comes to what they did to John Gruden, what happened with the Washington Commanders, all that the 360,000 or 630,000 emails are finally going to get exposed, and we're going to finally get to the bottom of everything that happened with this team 2 seasons ago when John Gruden was ex-nayed, and then Henry Ruggs, of course, in the incident that he was, where it pretty much just, got us to where we are now with Josh McSweatervest as our coach and Dave Ziegler as our general manager. Now, Mike Mayock came out and said a few things. We talked about that last night. You guys can go and take a listen to that if you want at the Chris Long podcast. You know what I mean? But that really doesn't interest me anymore. None of these guys are a part of the regime anymore. None of these guys are going to be moving forward with this regime anymore. So why in the hell would I even want to talk about them? Do I believe in Josh McDaniels? No, I don't. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do the best I can, but Josh McDaniels he was not my first choice as the head coach for this team. I wanted Byron Leftwich, and I still stand next to that move. I still stand next to wanting Byron Leftwich as the head coach of this team. And, well, I didn't get what I wanted, just like I didn't get Hendon Hooker. But, hey, we're just going to have to do with what we have to do with what we got. And if I know that when it comes down to it, man, all this other shit that is going in here, dude, that is being stacked on this organization, that's being shoved underneath the rug when it comes to Henry Ruggs and John Gruden, they're going to try to keep all of that hush-hush to where the only thing that we're doing is talking about football. Well, I've noticed all the other podcasters out there. Ain't nobody talking about that shit. Maybe one or two, but everybody else is pretty much trying to throw the facade out there at us and not want to cover what actually really needs to be covered. Roger Goodell is fucked. All right? And I'm going to be the first one to say it. He's fucked. All right? And don't be surprised when that punk motherfucker winds up getting removed. All right? The NFL is going to be really trying to be on top to try to keep all of this hush-hush and try, but it's already going to be out there in the public, and everything is going to finally get exposed, which means I'm going to be able to continue on with the John Gruden Email Chronicles, which happens to be one of my favorite segments that I do on this show. So at least they're going to be giving me more material to mess with. And, hey, I appreciate that. But Roger Goodell, man, Roger Goodell has made mistake after mistake after mistake. And the NFL brass heads up there up on top have made mistake after mistake after mistake and have never suffered any repercussions for it. Well, I have this funny feeling that John Gruden is the new age Al Davis. And John Gruden is going to stick it to the NFL and probably will single-handedly take a huge chunk out of the funds that the NFL makes. Getting worked back into the league somehow. Now, that's very far-fetched. I don't think John Gruden wants anything to do with the NFL anymore after how he was treated. but it really wouldn't surprise me if he did try to jump back in there just to stick it to the NFL, because I'm going to tell you guys right now, he's going to win this case. All right, there is no doubt in my mind whatsoever that John Gruden is not going to win this case. John Gruden is going to hand the NFL their ass. And I'm going to sit there with my popcorn, eat it, and laugh my ass off, because to be honest, that's what I want. I want the NFL to be held accountable for all of their bullshit. Because let's be real, if it wasn't for the Washington Commanders and all of their fucking sex scandal bullshit and the Dan Snyder shit, John Gruden would not have been pretty much targeted to try to silence everybody from talking about the Commanders. And then Snyder goes off and sells the team for $9 billion when they were literally only fucking assessed at like $633,000 a year prior. They're doing all this shit to just try to keep everything covered up on the NFL bigotry that goes on year after year after year, and the politics that goes on year after year after year in this league, where there's no repercussions for their shit. Well, I have a funny feeling that they are going to finally suffer the repercussions, and every single one of us who are alive are going to be here to see it. Now, who knows what it goes, what goes around comes around. Karma is a motherfucker, and I definitely wouldn't want the NFL's karma for doing what the hell they've done to people in the past. And I'm telling you guys right now, man, especially the NFL, if you guys are listening, John Gruden was not the one to fuck with, and you're starting to find that out now. No shit. I'm pretty sure you're starting to figure that out now. Fucking idiots, you shouldn't have messed with him, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and start going over here to the chat, because I really ain't got nothing else to talk about here. I wanna holler to all y'all, man. Art White, Raphael, Nutty Raider Nate, man, good to see you. Dark, dude, it's good to see you, bro. John Leon, man, hey, thank you for showing up, dude. Thank you guys so much. And yes, this is post-season, off-season, episode 13, right here on the Raider Critique, where we're going over the draft, pretty much. Now, I've been under the weather. I also went off and got married this weekend, and went off and had a wonderful honeymoon down in Galveston, Texas, and really got refreshed to where I can come back on here and start jumping on my game again. Sin City Pirate, man, it's good to see you, bro. And let's go ahead and go over some of these comments in the chat, man. I saw a few good ones in here as I'm sitting here rambling on and talking about what we got going on over here. I know I can tell you this. I tried to watch some of the draft shows on some of the other channels. Man, am I glad that I wasn't a part of any of these channels where you had one fucking douchebag who would go off and name the picks before anybody else actually even got to see what was going on. Raiders football talk. I'm glad that I'm not a part of that fucking clown show. And I feel bad for anybody who was watching those lives who ended up seeing that fucking terrible shit and really just kind of wondered why in the hell they were even on that channel to begin with. So I do want to apologize for my fellow YouTube Raider content creators for being a bunch of dumbasses and not watching the same stream at the same time, so they didn't give up the goddamn name of the draft pick before everybody else got to see it. Now, of course, you guys know, if you have been following me on Facebook, my son decided to play Spider-Man at school and tried to jump over a rail. Well, he figured out he wasn't Spider-Man. He fell about 5 foot, hit his head, fractured his left wrist, and broke his ring and middle finger on his right hand. Luckily, he's okay. You know what I mean? And it really just kind of really surprised me, man. He didn't even cry one bit. So, it's one real proud dad here, because I know that when I broke my collarbone doing BMX back when I was a kid, man, that hurt like a bitch. You know what I mean? And I know I wanted to cry, and I probably cried a little bit. You know what I mean? But he didn't even squeeze out a tear, man, and he's got a couple broken bones. And, well, I mean, he's going to be all right. He's kind of casted up right now. But he knows better, and he learned what not to do. And that's kind of, what I like to stress about is, doing the things that you're not, that you're supposed to do and not doing things you're not supposed to do, because if you do things you're not supposed to do, you wind up getting hurt, But he's doing all right, man, and I appreciate all y'all for reaching out. And for real, man, without all y'all, man, it's just, YouTube's really no fun. And it really hasn't been fun the last year or two. There's been a lot of fighting and bickering amongst the nation, and a lot of us are going to have different ideas and different ways of settling things, but the turmoil in between my Raiders brothers and sisters has actually worn my patience very thin. You get a lot of people out here, man, who like to run their mouth, and they like to cause a lot of controversy, and they like to throw the stick in the spokes, if you will. You know what I mean? There are a bunch of fucking shit disturbers out there, and y'all know who you are. I don't have to name you by name, but you're creating division within the Raider Nation, and it's really, honestly, it's unwarranted, unneeded, and, maybe, some of y'all should probably go and root for another team if that's what the fuck you're here to do, is to just, throw division into a fan base that's already dysfunctional from all the fucking moves we keep making, and none of us can be fucking happy about them because they're not solid moves. You know what? Jimmy Garoppolo's nothing but a stopgap as far as I'm concerned. Do I like Jimmy Garoppolo? I haven't liked Jimmy Garoppolo since he's entered the league. I didn't like him as a Patriot. I didn't like it when he got traded. I've never really seen him as a starting caliber quarterback. All right? And everybody can sit there and say, oh, well, he took the Niners to the Super Bowl. The Niners have had a pretty good built-up team around Jimmy Garoppolo, and that's kind of the reason why they've been successful. It wasn't because of Jimmy Garoppolo. If it was because of Jimmy Garoppolo, Brock Purdy wouldn't have did so well last year and into taking his team to the playoffs, being Mr. Irrelevant, Mr. number fucking round 7, last pick in the draft. So, yeah, man. I mean, I'm not sold on Jimmy Garoppolo, but if he can play with that chip on his shoulder and he can get this team across that threshold, I won't give him too much shit. But until I see it, I'm not going to sit there and boast about a guy that I really don't believe in. All right? But I am going to back him because he is our quarterback. Now, do you think JMD falls in year 2 or fails in year 2 and Gruden wins his cases? Could Gruden come back, and will Markey make that call? Honestly, I think it's going to be something completely off of that. I don't think John Gruden is going to get his job back. I think that if John Gruden ends up winning all of his cases, the NFL is going to be so pissed off at Mark Davis for paying John Gruden $40 million to go in and be able to sue the NFL, because let's be real, Raider Nation, the only reason why John Gruden is able to sue the NFL is because Mark gave him the fucking money to do it. Right? The NFL is going to be so pissed off at Mark that I do believe that Mark Davis is probably going to end up as the next Dan Snyder. And if that does end up happening, they will wind up ex-naying Mark Davis out of the league, the Davis family out of the league, which is something that they've always really wanted to do, because they would feel so much better if the Davis family wasn't a part of the NFL. But here's the issue I have with it. What if John Gruden comes in and is the one to buy the Raiders after that happens? If John Gruden comes back to the NFL, that's the capacity that I see him coming back in as the Raiders owner, because Mark Davis was ex-nayed out of the league, out of ownership. And with as much money as John Gruden is possibly going to win, he should have the money to be able to buy the franchise from Mark Davis, which, man, that would be fucking crazy. Let's be real. That would be absolutely batshit crazy. But we would be here to see it. And, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at when it comes to that. Now, of course, it's going to do, it'll play out. There's no way of predicting all this, but I've just got this funny feeling, and I've got this hunch that if it does go out of arbitration and it's put in front of a judge, it's put in front of a jury, in front of the whole public to see, where all those emails get brought out, the NFL is in a lot of fucking trouble. All right, the NFL is going to be in a lot of trouble, and they're going to have to wind up shelling out a lot of money. And if that happens, man, the sky's the limit on what happens. It wouldn't surprise me to see Gruden in the NFL again. It would surprise me to even see him anywhere near this team again, because of the allegations that was against him. Which, we the people, man, thanks for showing up, dude. You know, but hey, man, I'm still under the weather, and I did want to come over here and just like kind of touch base with all y'all. Still haven't sent off those shirts yet. I still haven't sent off those glasses yet. It's just been one thing after another when it comes to real life, man, that I've been having to take care of. So I haven't really been able to get on here and be able to fulfill my obligations into sending out the prizes that, you know, everybody has won on the last live I did. But be well assured that I am getting them in the mail. Brian Rodriguez, I've got your glasses. And then I've also got a couple shirts that's going to NorCal Raider Jesse and also John Leon, which I see you here in the chat, brother. I've also got Aunt Six. I've got a pair of glasses for you. But remember, I was also talking about Raider coins last night, and also what I've been talking about throughout the offseason here on the Raider Critique. I got new coins coming in. It's a complete new design coming from Raider Mayo right here out of San Antonio, out of the Black Hole chapter in San Antonio, Texas. Mid-June is when I'm expecting to get those coins. And I'm getting at least 6 of those. All right, 6 of those that I'm going to wind up giving away, probably 2 to 3 more, and then selling the other 3 for anybody else who did not win. And then I'm also going to give you all the information on who to get them from when I run out. So I want to be able to supply those to you guys. There will be more information on that later. But hey, let's just enjoy what we got going on right now. It's good to be optimistic. This is the best time to be optimistic because right now everybody is undefeated. All right? Training camp is right around the corner, which, by the way, Josh Jacobs did not attend OTAs. I don't expect him to play on the franchise tag, which this also could mean trouble for this organization moving forward without being able to have Josh Jacobs come and take the field. A lot of people out there saying Zamir White's going to wind up taking that starting position. I like Zamir White, but Zamir White's not Josh Jacobs. We really do need to find a way to get that guy re-signed, especially if he starts balling out this year. If he does end up playing on the franchise tag, we need to figure out a way to get this dude a contract if he starts beasting again this year. We've got the number 1 rusher in Josh Jacobs, the number 1 wide receiver in Devontae Adams. We got a hell of a wide receiver room. We really still have not addressed the offensive line. We did not catch or get a mobile quarterback, so I am in fear of any quarterback who is behind center, behind this line this year, because we don't have a mobile quarterback. We ain't got nobody to fucking get away and stretch the play and move outside of the pocket. And then on top of that, we got a starting quarterback, who seems that he cannot stay healthy past week 7. So yes, I'm still kind of skeptical, and I'm still kind of worried, because I don't believe that we addressed the offensive line as well as we did. We damn sure didn't address the linebacking position like we should have. We drafted a few linebackers, but they were depth pieces. We brought in Spillane, which Spillane has been nothing but a depth piece. I'm really kind of wondering which way this organization is actually trying to go, because the glaring issue last year was linebacker, and we didn't even fucking address it. So, damn, man. I really just wish they would do something that I would be fucking happy about. And it's just, it hasn't been that way. I like Tyree Wilson, and I like Michael Mayer, but outside of that, man, the jury's still out, bro, and we don't know. I'm glad we drafted a quarterback, but bro, we had a chance at Hendon Hooker. And you know, I'm gonna sound like a fucking idiot if Hendon Hooker doesn't wind up doing shit for Detroit. But what if he does? What if he does? There's only gonna be a few of us out there who are gonna be like, man, we should have got that guy. Damn it, we should have got that guy. But it is what it is, man. Anyway, just ignore the Nightbot in there, man. I actually didn't get a chance to go and change that. I actually should just go ahead and get that wiped out because I don't need to. Here, we'll just put that one on the bottom there. You can follow me on Instagram, and there's my IG down there. If you guys are new in the chat and you haven't received a patch, hit me up on Instagram to where, and give me your credentials, your P.O. box, whatever it may be, to where I can get you your patch and qualify you for all these prizes that I've been giving away on this channel. Because once you get a patch, that's what qualifies you into winning these glasses. It's what qualifies you into winning these coins and whatever else I decide to give away on this channel, man. So don't forget to do that. My IG is right there. And here we go. Amari Burney had to cover the first tight end that was drafted by the Bills. Yeah, and he is a linebacker, but do you really trust that guy to be able to go in there and cover a Travis Kelce? You know, we have not had a linebacker, or even a safety for that matter, who's been able to stop that guy in at least the last 6 years. And to me, it's killing me that we do not address that linebacker position. We haven't had a Kirk Morrison in here in many years. Denzel Perryman, if he could have stayed healthy, I would have kept him. I didn't even want to get rid of him, honestly. But we just let him walk. So, Amari Burney for linebacker, he's a depth piece, bro. He's a depth piece. He's like Spillane. Where are the big names? And, you know, and that's another thing, too. Why does this team always have to wait up until free agency before they start making some type of moves when it comes to trade deadlines and free agency deadlines? We literally just bring dudes in here to try to fill holes instead of going and reaching to go get somebody that we know is good. Now, I know in recent past we went off and got Corey Littleton, and we're still suffering from Corey Littleton's contract from the last regime, who decided to try to, you know, bring in free agent linebackers that didn't work out. But also, you know, we also didn't have the right coaches in here to be able to teach them the way they needed to play over here on certain defenses. Paul Gunther was a piece of shit. Patrick Graham, to me, doesn't seem like he really knows what he's doing either. You know, but, and you know, yeah, he played in the SEC, was a starter for the Florida Gators. He made Hooker fumble the ball. Okay. But let's be fucking real though, dude. College ball is not NFL ball. All right, just because you're fucking great in college doesn't mean it transitions great over into the NFL. Some dudes just don't fucking get it. We don't know if even Hendon Hooker's going to wind up getting it in the NFL. But then you got other cats who have come in here who maybe didn't do so well in college, but have beasted in the NFL. So, I mean, really, only time's going to be able to tell. And the only thing we can be is optimistic until we can't be optimistic anymore. You feel me? And it is what it is, dude. What's going on, Mike? It's good to see you in here, bro. But hey, man, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I got quite a few things that I would like to go do today. Going to go spend some family time with all of my daughters and sons and my newly acquired wife. And I'm just going to sit back and just kind of sit, you know, I'm just going to kind of sit back and I'm going to wait. And I'm going to watch how all of this is going to unfold just like the rest of you. I'm trying to be optimistic, Raider Nation. I'm trying. I really am trying, man, but fuck. We have got so many holes and so many issues, and I feel like that, dude, I feel like that we didn't address it. I feel like that we did not address it. I feel like that we just pretty much, it almost feels like that we went belly up before the fucking season even started. And we're already trying to build and get pieces together for next year's draft, because I hear the quarterback class is really good for next season. Only time will tell. We'll see on that. And if Jimmy Garoppolo stays healthy and winds up winning the starting job for another year here, then so be it. But we'll just have to see how it works out. But, dude, it is what it is, man. We'll see how it works. But I'm not going to sit there and boast about this team, and I'm not going to give y'all false hopes. I'm not going to tell you that we're going to be good, because the last thing I want to do is to boast up everybody's confidence just to where we all get let down when we find out that we suck again. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired of being fucking lied to. I'm tired of being lied to. I'm tired of being lied to by the mainstream media. I'm tired of being lied to by the NFL. You know, and I'm also sick and tired of watching some of these YouTubers drink the fucking corporate Kool-Aid and turn around and lie to the nation just because they want views. And that's really how I feel about it. If I'm going to be the most hated Raider YouTuber for telling y'all the truth, then so be it, man. At least I can keep my integrity, and I can honestly sit there and say that I didn't drink the corporate Kool-Aid. And I was smart enough not to. And that's why I'm still here. So anyway, Raider Nation, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications for more Raiders content right here on the Raider Critique. Right here on YouTube, man, where we tell the truth with intensity. And we don't drink the corporate Kool-Aid.